afternoon. This is the knitting news for the 45th week of 2024 from Knit Happens Teesside, our knitting group, and I'm Annie. The other night at knitting, Helen was working on a new project, well, a kind of a new one, but she's done quite a bit. And I think it is a 4-ply and kid silk haze, or kid silk, work together, and is kind of a, what do you call it, where the colours grade, like a gradient. I think it's a gift, and it's in varying shades of blue. But I think that there's only 2 colours of the 4-ply, and the rest of the gradient is made by using the different kid silks or combinations, if I have that correctly. Anyway, it's a drops pattern, so I will link that in wherever you go for them. Jill was working on her Kim Hargreaves tunic top that she's made before. She made it previously, I've shown it the last couple of weeks, in the sort of dusty pink colour, and she's now making it in more of a baby pink kind of cotton. So that's going well, and she did a German short row shape pink, and that's now what, in fact, it's a little bit like the Ugly Cat shawl in reverse what Helen's making, I think. She does German short rows, but I think I don't know if she's working it the other way around. Anyway, it's wedges, and then you cast off, so it's got a bit of it, the edge goes a little bit like a step. So Jill was getting on with her cotton, and what was I working on? I was finishing this. Not quite sure they're evenly spaced, but they're supposed to be. And I did toy around with, because there was no definite instructions, so I did toy around with maybe putting them closer together or wider apart. It's because just that top one that's a little bit further apart because of the border on the neck. So that's a slip stitch crochet edge with a double crochet or single crochet if you're American worked into it, with 5 chains for each button loop. That's not going to focus. So every button loop's 5 chains. Probably a 4mm hook or something like that. So that's all finished off. This is finished, and I showed you last week, and I have sewn all the holes up now because baby won't want little bits hanging off like I'm not bothered with. So I have found some buttons. So that just needs 2 buttons sewing on it, and that can be blocked. I've finished me. It's just funny, I can't imagine it on. Anyway, this is the little strawberry romper with no straps or anything. This is it finished. So I think it's just for photographs. It should be cute. Oh, and I found something red. What I've been doing this morning and roping my husband into is I have a china cabinet that I was storing all my knits in. And it got very untidy, and we put a rug in that room, and he yanked the cupboard forward and pulled. It's got 2 legs at the back, 1 in the middle at the front. It must be about 2 years ago. He just dragged it forward and the front leg fell off. So it's been sort of propped ever since. So today I've emptied it and found some knits that I could have been wearing in the summer, but I wasn't because I didn't know where they were. I also found lots of jumpers that I don't wear. Including this. I mean, it looks fine. ish. I'm not fussed on. I'm not fussed on this or the 3/4 sleeves. And the fact is, I've had this for years and I don't wear it. And I'm looking for some purple wool for something. So this is going to be unpicked. And so is this. So that's what's happening with this. Because I don't wear it. And it is wool. Double knit wool. It's some Rowan, probably discontinued, because you know what Rowan are like for discontinuing things. This is bamboo. It's a much richer, deeper. Well, they look all right. They do. They are very similar. So this is bamboo. This is the dress that my daughter wore when she left primary school. She needed a little slip underneath it. And there's kind of a full bag of, what would it be, 500 grams in it, probably. So I could would make a baby blanket. I might put it through a wool wash, dry it and then unpick it, and then it'll all be nice and clean. Wind it into cakes and it'll be ready for a baby blanket, won't it? So I thought that was quite good, because it's just been hanging around and I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't know whether to try to sell it, but it's a bit of an odd article, or what. But when you've made things, it's so hard to get rid of them, isn't it? So that needs frogging. Ribbit, ribbit. And this needs frogging, because, well, I've already explained. So I have plans. I've just come to an end. I've made another little hat. I'll just go and get it. Woo! It's this pattern. It's by Erica Knight, and I made it in cream, and I found this one ball, but now I want it to go further. I mean, if I make something tiny, I don't know what I'll get out of it. But I made another beautiful little hat for baby. My son tells me, because the baby is due in January, they won't let them leave hospital unless the baby has a hat. I suppose common sense isn't that common, is it? But this baby will have a selection, which is nice. The next thing I'm going to make for baby, I've got this. How long I've had this, I don't know. How much is on there, I don't know. So it's a lilac colour. It's a bit more pinky than it's looking on my screen. But I've got an eye shield thing on it. So I've got this lilac double knit. And this book that I have shown before. And I have chosen another cardigan. I think what I'm going to do is just going to do the smallest sizes on all the patterns, and then see how things fit when baby appears, and see what I need to do regarding knitting something bigger. Hopefully some of it will fit. I shall have to organise to maybe, well, she might be able to pass them on. If she can't pass them on, I can potentially make things a little bit bigger with what I have. Right, how do I show this? I'll put that picture on that side. This cardigan. Isn't that lovely? So that's the next little baby knit. I was having a bit of a hat panic because I forgot I'd made one, but now I've made 2 or maybe even 3. Yeah, hopefully that will be nice, that one. Right then, a finished object would be, just have some coffee. coffee. Instant coffee. It's okay. I can't be on the strong stuff all day. So, this undesirable cardigan, that'll be the last time that's on. And the finished one is my I made a little bit of a, well, I had a bit of a rough start with this because I didn't realise I needed 2 balls. So that's the back of the neck, but now I know that that's the back of the neck. Which is kind of convenient because there's no label. So this is Tunisian, top down, in the round, raglan, jumper that will be in Blocked magazine at some point. It's made with Toft alpaca, which is very soft. It's extremely soft. And it's like so. I think it's quite a good fit. And the weather's not really cold enough yet for it. It's been quite mild. About 10 degrees, I think, most of the time. That's 16, but that's inside. I think it's been about 10 degrees outside. And not windy. And kind of nothing weather. And I like it when it's not windy and it's not raining and it's not this and it's not that. And it's not too hot, not too cold. But a little bit of sunshine would not go amiss. We've had sort of thick cloud for days, which is a bit miserable. And I'm a bit miserable anyway. For obvious reasons, which were on last week's. I could tell you about Millie's little funeral, actually. I don't know if you want to hear about that. But I do think we sent her off nicely, and she was 18 and 3/4 or 4/5. We had to have her put to sleep, and it was bonfire. It was the 5th of November, it was bonfire night. It was in the evening. 3 of us, because my son was working, 3 of us went and met up at the vet's. And they were very nice in how they did things. It was done very respectfully. And it was time. And we came home. And we had some tea. And then my poor husband had to go out and dig a hole. And we had some moss in the grass. I knew we had moss because I'd been pulling a bit out recently. So I pulled some more out because it just pulls out really easily from the grass, and it's no good for your grass, is it? Actually, I could have used a rake, but we only needed a little bit. So I put some moss in the bottom of the hole, and we laid Millie in there, and we put a red geranium on her and some paper over her so that she would not be just covered in soil. Because they let us bring her home, and I didn't think they were going to. I know you can have them cremated, but most of our pets have passed away at home. So that's where they all are. And I know where they are. And they've usually got a stone or something above them. So she's next to our last cat. She's quite close to where our last cat was buried. And well, it's as good as we can do. So Thursday, I was a little bit, we all got a bit teary about it, but it was good to talk about it. And it's probably good to talk about it now. And I'm probably going to edit some of that off because I don't want to make everybody cry. So it's not a 3-legged cupboard. I've just had a look and it's a 4-legged cupboard. And it's one leg that's missing. So Tim's gluing it on, and I will have to be quite selective. I would like to be quite selective about the jumpers that I put back in my cupboard. But I just can't see it happening. I have, in fact, worn most of them. But there's only like that purple one that I know I definitely won't wear. They'll go. So I'll have to find a picture, because it was really nice when I first did it. So more news, maybe next week.